Welcome back, everyone. I want to do another video. I just did one on the mouse guard slash engine introducer, and I figured I might as well do another quick one on how to feed your bees or how I feed my bees. I'm not going to actually demonstrate this out in the yards because I'm going to try to get by without feeding my bees this year. I'm sure I'll have to, top some of the hives off. I left my honey supers on, and I wasn't pulling honey as aggressively as I have in years past to kind of force them to fill up their brood box, the top brood box, with honey and nectar, and kind of push that colony down. And in years past, I would just take all the honey, take the honey, take the honey, and then I would just jam 2 to 1 down them, and I would just force them into that winter configuration. This year, obviously, with the price of sugar, and my operation just got kind of grew all at once in 1 or 2 years, and I'm just tired of running back and forth to all the out yards with 5 gallon buckets of 2 to 1. Plus, all my buckets are occupied right now, holding all the honey because I had a pretty good honey crop this year. I got 1,620 pounds so far. So let's get into what we use to feed the bees. I use hive top feeders. I really like these. I haven't tried many other feeders. I did try a frame feeder. I just didn't care for it. One, you got to take a frame out, so you're kind of chewing up real estate in your hive. You have to open that hive up and then pour it, your syrup, your sugar water into that frame feeder. You got to pop the lid. You got to, the bees are all there. It's kind of a little bit invasive. This goes on top of the hive. You get these at any of the bee suppliers, and it's basically built on it's a small super. I think it's even smaller than a shallow. And then it has this plastic insert in it. If you fill these things up, you can get easily 2.5 gallons in this thing. And it's got a screen in there. And if you look at the back, the bees can climb in there, and they come up and they cling onto that screen, and then they start drinking the syrup through the screen. When you're feeding your bees, they're going to go through this fast. And those little quart jars, just people use quart jars, and they, little baggies sometimes that hold, you know, less than a gallon, and they're going to suck that up in a day. I mean, it's bad enough they sometimes take this down in 2 or 3 days. So your 2 to 1 goes right in there, and this is right on your hive. And then when you have to refill it, it just stays on your hive. And you pop your lid off, and you dump your syrup in with your 5 gallon buckets, and you're just done. That's why I prefer these. They're a little expensive. I think they're like $30-something, but I love them. I have a ton of them, and like I said, I'm trying not to feed bees. I'm sure I will have to top some of them off. And what you feed your bees in the wintertime is 2 to 1. Everybody says 1 to 1 in the spring because it's I guess they claim it resembles the actual nectar better, and it encourages them to draw a comb and start brooding up the hives. So springtime is 1 to 1. Fall time to feed them is 2 to 1. You want that thicker syrup, less water, less for them to evaporate out, less work for them to do. They can get it in there, pack it in, and cap it off, and then they're ready. So I usually boil. I don't boil. I heat the water up to a near boil, turn the heat off, dump my sugar in. So I do 2 to 1. It's not a precise science, about 2 to 1. So what I find is 125-pound bag of sugar to a gallon and a half. Yeah, because that's a gallon of water is about 8 pounds and change. So a gallon and a half would be 12 pounds. So 12 and change. So 12 and 12, 24. That's close enough to 25. So that's 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. I do recommend heating it up for 2 to 1. I know some people just take the garden hose with 1 to 1 and mix it all up, and that'll work. But the 2 to 1, it's pretty thick. So I heat that water up pretty good. I get it like right up to a boil, turn that heat off, put the sugar in, stir it up, and it takes a while. It'll turn into, it'll get all liquefied and be a nice thick syrup for you. And then you throw it in your hive top feeder, throw your lid on, and you're done. I like to have my bees fed up. I used to say by like Halloween, but a couple years I got it got cooler a little faster out. You have to remember the bees will not take syrup when the syrup itself is under 50 degrees. The syrup has to be 50 degrees. That's not saying that your ambient temperatures outside have to be 50 because you might warm up to 70 during the day and go down to 40 at night. That syrup will still, not go below 50. However, when those nights start dropping into the 30s, that syrup may never get up because it's the same effect on the other side. You can be cooler in the day and it can warm up, but that syrup's not going to warm up in time. Your days are short. The sun's not out that long. So I would say here in the Northeast in New Jersey, I set my sights to have my bees fed up by mid-October. I think that's probably fair. If you haven't seen it already, the video before this was on entrance reducers and mouse guards. That would probably be a good watch for you as well. And then you should be set up for the beginning part of winter. Some videos to follow in the future are going to be I mentioned it in the past, the Homosoap moisture boards that I use. A little early for that. I usually put those on around Thanksgiving. We're going to go over mountain camp feeding again in some video to come, and we're going to actually demonstrate the oxalic acid treatments. I had a video previously to give everybody a chance to decide which treatment they wanted. The formic had to be done in August anyway, and we're actually going to demonstrate that, probably in the first or second week in December. So I hope you guys will come back for those two videos. They should be pretty beneficial to you. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.